Hey, shalom everyone. This is Amir and this is breaking news from Galilee, from Israel. Just a few minutes ago, finally, the gag order over the story of the explosion in the Megiddo Junction was lifted. So now I can tell you what happened. Listen to me, please. Press the share button because I don't know how many of you will be able to hear it because of all the censorship that is going on here. Please, if you can, press the share button. Breaking news. Let me explain to you the severity of what happened in northern Israel, what I have to deal with personally, because I've been aware of the situation for a few days and there was no way for me to speak with anyone about it. The gag order was very, very strict, and then myself, I live not far from Megiddo, which is where the explosion took place a couple days ago. So, but let me, first of all, if you can share this right now, later on I'm going to put it on YouTube, and if you can share it on YouTube, please, that would also help a lot. So breaking news, and I will not exaggerate if I say that a war with Lebanon nearly broke out in the last few days. Now let me take you all the way through the details, okay? So again, breaking news. A Lebanese terrorist, most likely Hezbollah, trained by Hezbollah, sent by Hezbollah, crossed the border either Saturday night or early hours of Sunday morning, made his way all the way to the Megiddo Junction. It's a very central junction, Route 65, in the morning hours, very, very, very busy, tons of cars. He brought with him, now we don't know if he brought it from Lebanon or it waited for him in Israel, which is one of the major issues here, an explosive that could have killed hundreds of people. And what happened is, from reasons we don't know, I mean, I know it is a miracle. It is a miracle. The device, the explosive, exploded when the junction was actually empty, and it actually hurt, and it hurt a car 3 lanes on the other side. The blast was so big, and you know, it was so big that actually it wounded severely an Israeli Arab who was driving in his car 3 lanes away. Now you can imagine if that explosion would have happened next to a car that was driving right next to it, or a bus loaded with children or soldiers or whatever, we would be counting hundreds of dead people, at least 100, because this is a very busy junction. I think that what was in their mind was to detonate it when there's a big traffic jam there, and it would have caused, you know, several cars to just go up in the air. Okay, so from unexplained reasons, which I believe amazing miracle, and by the way, a series of miracles is taking place all across Israel in the last few days. I don't even know how to explain that to you. But that terrorist later on stopped the car. We don't know if it was someone who worked with him or someone that he just stopped, and traveled all the way back towards the Lebanese border while he was not only armed, but wearing explosive belt, suicide belt. I think that within the hours between the explosion and his escape, the Israeli Secret Service understood 2 things. This explosive is something that Hezbollah has its fingerprints on, and this terrorist must have crossed from Lebanon, and we think we know how he's going to try to get back to Lebanon. Special forces waited for him and seeing that he is wearing an explosive belt, they shot a bullet into his head and killed him on the spot. Was silent on the Lebanese side, because this is what we call almost a casus belli, a good enough reason to go to war. Hezbollah's name was not mentioned, but everybody knows that Hezbollah is behind it. Everybody knows Hassan Nasrallah was definitely aware of all of this. And if he was successful, he could have killed 100 Israelis in Megiddo and a bunch of soldiers in a checkpoint while exploding with his explosive belt. Had that happened, we would have been now deep in a war with Lebanon right now. This is exactly why I was asking people to pray and why I was telling you there is a delicate situation, because there was a manhunt to find him. You can imagine, you don't know where the guy is, and you don't know if he has another powerful explosive and what is going to happen. He was armed to his teeth, and look, that's what happened. Thankfully, he's dead. It's kind of something that came to an end, but big questions are now to be asked. How did he cross the border? 1. Did he have some Israeli Arabs that helped him? 2. Who supplied the explosive? Because it's hard to believe that he carried the explosive all the way from Lebanon to the Megiddo Junction. Why wouldn't he do it right next to the border? Well, so that's another thing. And of course, who helped him, driving him to and from? So these are questions the Israeli Secret Service is working on. No one in Israel dares to say that it is a Hezbollah thing, because if you say it, you have to act upon it. The last thing Israel needs right now is a war. But if you ask me, it is actually the first thing Israel needs right now. Look, I don't know if I can tell you that, but this, I will. Israel right now is being perceived as weak because of all the protests and all the, some pilots and soldiers are saying we're not going to join the reserves if this government will pass the judicial reform, all this nonsense. The Arabs all around us are seeing this. The Iranians, the Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, the proxies in Syria, the Houthis in Yemen, all of them, and of course the Iranians, all of them fantasizing right now on a world without Israel. All of them believe that Israel is on borrowed time. All of them believe that the Zionist dream is coming to an end. All of them think this is the right time. It's like hyenas that are trying to attack a lion when they see that he's limping and thinking, ooh, maybe this is the right time. The very irresponsible act of the left, of the liberal progressive left in Israel, is encouraging our enemies. And unlike before, we have never seen them so emboldened to strike and to do something big, very big. Israel should initiate something rather than respond to things. And I think that the biggest threat we have in the north right now is Hezbollah. Lebanon cannot afford a war right now. Hezbollah needs to be, I think, Hezbollah needs to lose power. And I think that whether it's in Gaza or in Lebanon or in Syria, Israel must take the initiative, because this is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Again, almost a war with Lebanon in the last few days, following the massive explosion in the Megiddo Junction, the infiltration of a Lebanese terrorist, most likely Hezbollah, the use of a huge explosive that could have killed tons of Israelis, and thankfully, miraculously didn't. And the fact that we caught him on his way back to Lebanon wearing a suicide belt, and only a bullet in his head stopped him from actually detonating that as well. Big miracle. This is not the first miracle this week. And in fact, in the last 3-4 weeks, I'm not at liberty to tell you, but in the last 3-4 weeks, Israel experienced maybe, I don't know, 6-7 big miracles. Someone on TV just said that maybe some leftists will not join the military, but God was drafted and he's working. He is now in the Israeli military because there is no logical explanation to the number of miracles that took place in Israel in the last few weeks. No logical explanation. I don't need, as a man of faith, I don't need logical explanation at all. I have the big explanation. He that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleep. We know that. But everybody all around, they're like, wow, what's next? What's going on? So I want to tell you something, folks. The power of prayer. Keep praying for Israel more than ever before. This is a country on the verge of a war that might be on several fronts at the same time. And more than ever before, please pray the Israeli public will get back to its senses and that there will be a greater sense of unity here. Because everybody knows there has to be a judicial reform. Everyone knows that. The question is, can we find a common ground? Prime Minister Netanyahu was supposed to already take off to Berlin. He's on a blitz of meetings with European leaders to bring about another strong alliance and front of Europe to restore the embargo of weapons on Iran and to restore the sanctions, because all of them have been lifted for the Iran deal that is a joke. Everybody now understands Iran is not the solution, but it's the problem. And especially now in light of the Iranian aid to Russia and Ukraine, we all know that Iran must be dealt with. So, Netanyahu was in Paris, he was in Rome, he's going to be in Berlin tomorrow, and later on next week, even in London, all in the effort to bring together a coalition that will be strongly standing to restore the weapon embargo so Iran will not be, the sanctions will force Iran not to be able to sell weapons anymore. This is it, folks. Nearly a war with Lebanon in the last couple of days because of this incident that I just detailed. Please share this with as many people as you can. Please pray for Israel. I'm on Telegram. This is where I'm giving most of the information. Please follow me on Telegram. And this is where you will get 24/7 news. Okay? Thank you. God bless you. Share it. Push the share button on the Facebook one and on the YouTube and Twitter. Thank you. God bless you.